Why should we hire you? In this video, you're going to get the very best answer to this question, how to structure your answer for the role that you are interviewing for, and a ton of resources to help you pass your interview. I'm Amri Celeste, your interview coach with over 11 years in HR and recruitment. If you haven't subscribed, do take a moment to do so. It does help the channel. So why should we hire you is a competency-based interview question. I cover the top competency-based interview questions and answers here in this video, which I will link in the description below for you. Now, the major difference with this question in comparison to other interview questions like what makes a good team member or how do you handle conflict is this question is open. It's designed to be vague and it gives you the floor to show off your skills. So where do you start? Do you talk about your industry skills? Do you talk about your key skills, your similar systems that you've used, your hard skills, your soft skills? Well, the quick answer is yes to all, but it helps to keep your answer neat and structured. So this is how to do that. First, start with 2 hard skills. So these are skills that are easy to prove and measure. I cover hard skills and soft skills in more detail in this video on soft skills interview questions and answers. So if you don't know what these are, I highly recommend that you watch that video before your interview. So let's say that you were going for an office manager role. The first part of your answer might look something like this. I think you should hire me because I have a strong combination of the skills that are required to do well in a role like this. Then you move into what those skills are. So they are on the job description. So on an office manager job description, for example, you'd look at that area that covers skills and experience. So this is an example job description that I created. So look at the areas where you have experience. So for example, let's take familiarity of office procedures and basic accounting principles, and also knowledge of HR procedures. So your answer might continue on with, I've had over 3 years experience in office management duties. I get involved in HR induction, so I have an understanding of some HR work. I keep the office records up to date, so I'm very familiar with typical office processes. And I also manage petty cash, invoices, and other purchase orders. So you can see how you haven't copied word for word, but you would be linking key parts of your experience to what they actually want in the role and show off your personal qualities. Now, you also want to look out for other versions of this question so that you don't get caught out in your interview. What can you bring to the company? What makes you stand out? Why do you want to work here? Why should we hire you over other candidates? These are all variations of the same question, so you can use this answer structure that I'm sharing in this video to answer most of those interview questions as well. So next we're moving from the 2 hard skills to 2 soft skills in the second part of your answer. So these are skills that are harder to quantify and measure. They are skills like problem solving, communication, empathy, but they're very powerful for boosting your interview answer. So definitely watch that video that I mentioned earlier if you're not sure how to use them. So here's a quick example. I also have strong, clear communication skills, which I think are critical to manage vendor and supplier relationships in a role like this. But use soft skills that are relevant to the role that you are going for. So for example, let's use a telesales role now. So if you were going for a telesales role, you'd use something relevant to that. So this is an example job description that I created for a telesales executive. And if we look down here under behaviors, you have a bunch of soft skills listed like problem solver, persuasive, charismatic. So for problem solver, you might say, I really pride myself on being able to solve problems. For example, I once had a customer who was hesitant to buy our product due to concerns related to its functionality. I shared case studies and reviews from other customers who had successfully used our product to solve that specific problem, and I was able to ultimately sell to this customer due to solving this issue. Now, with an answer like this, you're doing 3 things. So first, you've included the words for example, which is key. An example always strengthens your answer because the interviewer can then see you in that situation demonstrating that skill. But in that answer, you've also proved that you were a great salesperson because solving the problem allowed you to make a sale, which links it back to the job. So linking your soft skill back to the role is key, and you can do this by paying attention to the job description for your own role. Now, if you're getting value from this video, click like, leave a comment below. It's super helpful to get this video in front of more people on YouTube. You can also buy me a coffee if you've had great results from any of the advice. There's a link in the description below covering how to do that. So then next, include your key skills that are highly relevant to the role. Your key skills can be highly relevant to the core responsibilities in the role. So let's use a customer service role this time round. Your key skills should link to anything that is a principal duty or essential skill. So looking at this example job description for a customer service role, looking at key responsibilities where it says meet and exceed daily, monthly, and yearly targets, or here, handle customer queries, answering queries in person, over the phone, or online. So the key skills part of your answer might be, I also have multiple key skills that I think would add major value in this role. I worked in a similar role with a customer focus for a year, and in my third month, I actually hit 120% of my target, and this was because I was able to resolve a record number of customer queries by staying highly organized. This meant that when similar queries popped up, I was able to follow a quick, pre-planned process to resolve it, advise them on the best steps, or transfer the customer to the relevant team. So in this part of the answer, you've talked about hitting and exceeding targets that tied into resolving customer queries, but what's most key here, you include specifics like numbers and dates. In my third month, and I hit 120% of my target. So including specifics adds authenticity to your answer. Now, if you struggle with tough interview questions and answers, you can grab a copy of this free guide. This guide has example answers and interview tips for your job interview to boost your interview skills. It includes answers to difficult questions like how do you handle pressure at work and what is your greatest weakness. There's also an alternative answer to this question that I'm answering in this video, or at least a similar question: why should we give you the job, and what to ask your interviewer at the end of your interview. It's totally free, and you can get yours by clicking the link in the description below this video. So lastly, your values. So sprinkling in where your values match with the company's is the gold touch in an interview answer. So here's an example. My personal values include a strong passion for protecting and preserving the environment. When I was preparing for this interview, I noticed that the company is committed to significantly reducing its carbon footprint. I was especially excited when I saw this, as I would really love to work somewhere that has the same outlook as me when it comes to prioritizing environmental care. Now, that's just an example. Of course, use your own values. As a bonus tip, there is one other area that you can include to boost your answer, but I recommend that you only use this if the role that you're going for is looking for someone who is innovative, creative, or ambitious. You can include one new idea. So this is where you show the interviewer that you have been thinking about how you can add value in the role before your interview by sharing something that occurred to you that would support or enhance either the company, team, or department. So here's an example for a role in marketing. I also think I can add value in this role. When I was preparing for this interview, I came up with an idea that I wanted to share: a customer advocacy program. It could gain feedback from happy customers to use as marketing content. The program could include testimonials, social media referrals, and user-generated content. That way, the company can strengthen relationships with current customers while attracting new ones. Now, this was an example that I used for a recent video answering the question, what can you bring to the role, which I'll link in the video description below. And that answer highlights how you might share a new idea in a solid answer. Now, if you struggle with interview confidence, nerves, or brain freeze, and you want to know how to conduct a practice interview without the help of a coach, then you can join my interview mastery program. There's more info on that in the video description below. Now, if you found this helpful, let me know, leave a comment, and I will see you in the next video.